Okay, okay. So we're on the page where you will find the GPRO SuperLight 2, the fingertip grip, uh, skeleton mod, or whatever you want to call it, shell mod. I don't know. But there'll be two options that you can choose. The one which is pictured here does not have the holes to secure the top in place. But for the demonstration purposes and in the assembly video that'll come, or the assembly section of this video that comes after, I will download the one with the screw holes. So you want to, if you're going to do that, you want to make sure that you go to download stl/cad files here, and then you want to select the one that says secured top. The one without the holes is just, doesn't have that, but this is the one that does. So you want the secured top for the one with screw holes, the one that doesn't say that for the one without the screw holes. The difference between the two, or the logic behind why I've added screw holes, is if you do want to do the actuation points for the triggers with which I'll kind of explain. You'll see it in the assembly video, the assembly section. Is that it's probably better to have that top kind of screwed down, screwed in place, so that when you're adjusting the tension, it doesn't just push the top out of place because that kind of clips in a little bit. So yeah, we'll download this one. Yada yada. That's fine. I've already got it, so we'll just ignore that bit. And then I will open it because I've already got it. Um, Boom, in place. So this is all you'll get, and it's all you'll need from the model. Um, my only advisory is here that you might want to do if you so fancy yourself, is that you can use some like fuzzy skin texture on the sides or like on the fingertips here, and then on the side here if you just want a bit more texture and a bit more grip. Support wise, I use tree um, because that just works for me, and I use that pretty much all the time. So it's a matter of preference on how you want to do supports. Um, and the way it's orientated as well should be that's how I print it, and that's how it comes out fine, assuming you've got supports, obviously. I print it at zero, no point two, yeah, point two layer height. That's fine. Yeah, doesn't matter. So it's all down to preference, really. The model just should just work. Um, yeah, so that's that bit, and I will show you how to put it together. So yeah, this is the image of all that shite that's on my desk, but a bit closer. You'll need these flat screws. All the screws that you need are already in the Logitech SuperLight too. So yeah, these three screws. Pretty much, there's five flathead screws. Three are already used to secure the main board in place, and then the other two are used to secure the mouse triggers in place on the roof of the shell. Um, so that's where you'll source these ones. And then these ones here, the kind of narrower topped but longer, they're just kind of like throughout the shell. You'll have plenty of those. I'm not too sure there's extras of these. I cannot recall when I took it apart. There might be two extra. I can't remember if the mouse triggers use four to screw them in place. I think they do. Can't recall. But yeah, you'll have enough screws, and obviously you get the bits that are already the mouse and these bits here. So yeah, and then on to the assembly. Okay, right. Let's hope this runs smooth. I'm only going to do one take, hopefully, and I'll just go through it. So, there will be a picture that I will post so you can see this much better. This is all you will need to turn your Superlight 2 into a fingertip grip. Bear in mind, I don't have a ribbon cable here. This will work with a ribbon cable, obviously. I just might have broken it at some point. Um, have ordered a new one, but that won't affect it in terms of assembly. You'll just, put when you take it apart, connect the bits back together where you took them out of. Okay. Um, so starting with this part, you will need to get this, obviously your main board, I would call it, and you'll need three of these like wide flat tipped screws. This will secure the main board in place. This is a bit finicky to get in place, but it does go in. You just need to wiggle it a little bit. I put it in at like a slanted angle, so like if you're slanting in from the back, going to like the left side of the front, and it will wiggle in. Oh, there you go. That went smooth, which is how it's meant to be. Um, so I'll quickly screw that in place. Cool, that's secured. Not going anywhere. Uh, yeah, lines up. Happy days. Um, Next on the list, I would probably do is you probably want to put your ribbon cable in here, at least the wide bit that goes into the main board. Clip that in, and then pop your battery in, just to get it out the way. Out the way. I use a bit of double-sided sticky tape here and just stick it straight on top of the sensor, quite central, because that's probably the best place to put it. Tuck the cable in, nice and neat, cool, happy days again. Then next, what we want to do is we want to get your clicker bit. I don't know, it's probably got a proper name than clickers, but you know what I mean. And that's going to mount just towards the front here. Line up the holes on that with the holes in the body bit. And you want the long screws for this, so you need 4 of them. And just screw them in as so. Ooh, this is very fucking finicky. Pardon swearing. Only thing here that I would do is don't tighten them in all the way to start. Just make sure you get them at least all secured in their holes, but don't lock the PCB in place. That's just for tolerances and stuff like that, which, I mean, it is pretty bang on, but with 3D printing, I'll blame the 3D printer, that can vary from time to time. So, and then once you've got those all secured once you've got them all like in the places they're meant to be, not locked down, I would push the PCB for the clickers to the forward as much as you can, and then that would be when you start to tighten down the screws to just hold the PCB in place. That should be fine. Yada da. And then for this, this can be a bit finicky. So, scroll wheel is always a pain in the arse to actually get in place because, well, I find it a pain in the arse, but it does, I mean, it'll go in. So, put it in as so. I don't know if I need to really get up close, but you know what I'm doing probably. Just get that bit, line it up with the encoder, slots in, yada da. This bit is a bit annoying, but it's the best thing to do. You want to kind of slightly lift up the scroll wheel, and then you want to get the shorter wall, and you just want to kind of slide it just under that scroll wheel, and then you want to wedge the wall. There's a wall that's got like a little nubbin on it, which you can kind of see if the camera's kind of focused. You just want to slide that in between your switch and your scroll wheel, your right click and your mouse wheel clicker. You know the one I'm talking about, and that will hold your scroll will be in place and it won't wiggle around when you're using it, yada yada da, and that'll line up. So that's that. And then this isn't mandatory, but I think it's good to do because it will work without it. But I think it's good to do with your aye. You want these flat screws again, and you want to just screw them in to the wee pegs that I've made. This is just to kind of help with, something a bit more solid to contact the mouse 1 and 2 switches, but also as well, I don't think it's like super adjustable, but like the idea is there, and it probably does do a little bit if you want to adjust to the actuation point, I suppose, somewhat. If you want to make it really sensitive or not very sensitive. So now that that's together, it's not going to focus, but you know what I mean. This over this bar and the clip here, this literally will go in at an angle, and it should just fold over and then kind of like settle in place, which will. Oh, there you go. So that's that. And then, in order to secure this in place, you don't have to do this, but I think if you do want to try and fine tune or try and make use of those screws for the pegs on the triggers, if you want to try, you probably want to use this. Just kind of make sure it's kept flat and in place. Use these screws to hold that top cover in place. And once that's done, you should be good. And that will be your super ultralight. And also, yeah, um, connect the other bit of the ribbon cable in there. And for the switches for button 4 and 5, you can either tuck them in at the side, and that'll be fine. I mean, there'll be a place that you can tuck them in there. I've not accommodated for that, but you will be able to like tuck them in here or something. And if you really want, you can like maybe fasten it a little bit with like double-sided sticky tape so they're not flopping around. Or you can just chop them off, which is I did without not by choice when taking the mouse originally apart, but that didn't hinder the function of these switches. You like literally just chop them off, and that's it. So that's that. Yarida, functional. Um, there's these extended little like corners so you can put your PTFE dots or use Teflon dots, and you should be good. So there you go, and that's a comparison with that's a Super Strike, but same size in terms of compared to a SuperLight. Yeah, Bob's your uncle. There you go.